Former President Donald Trump's new free speech app, Truth Social, has now made its first very high-profile ban, or at least they consider it to be high enough profile to ban, and it would be a fictional cow. Yes, according to reports I'm reading here from CNET, former U.S. President Donald Trump's recently launched app Truth Social has reportedly banned a user for trying to make an account called Devin Nunes's Cow. Yes, Devin Nunes's cow. That is despite Trump positioning the social network as a bulwark against censorship. Hey, we're believing free speech here. All speech is welcome unless you're a cow. No cows allowed, especially ones that make fun of Devin Nunes. Fun. Now, Devin Nunes, of course, is running Truth Social, so you can kind of draw a line here between like, oh, right, Devin Nunes is cow, and Devin Nunes, he don't like that. Now, the account's handle referred to Trump Media and Technology Group CEO and former U.S. Representative Devin Nunes. Web developer and internet personality Matt Ortega had tweeted on Tuesday that after he tried to make the account on Truth Social, he received an email from the platform saying that the account was permanently banned. Couldn't even get to the account creation. This was pre-banned. This was like, oh, by the way, if you try to make a cow, well, we're going to have a cow and we're going to butcher it, literally, before it even gets out of the gate. Gone. Sorry, cow. Not going to happen. In fact, Ortega told Business Insider, quote, I was never able to log in, leaving me to believe that the account was banned simply for the username that mocking the media company's CEO with a well-known meme. It's memes. We've got memes, the realist memes. The Trump Media and Technology Group's terms of service do not allow people to tarnish, disparage, or otherwise harm, in our opinion, us and or the site. But it's a parody account. Now, funny enough, Truth Social allows parody accounts. In fact, I'm pretty sure that somewhere out there, some right-winger is making a parody account of Joe Biden, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Twitter wouldn't even have a problem with that. In fact, there are parody accounts of politicians all over. But yet, on Truth Social, if you try to make a parody account of Devin Nunes and or his cow, well, that's too much. Too much. We're going to have to destroy, obliterate your free speech. I'm guessing that he's just a bit salty about this. Like, imagine having the conversation with the developers to make sure, hey, look, we say we're free speech, right? But there is one account that we definitely need to ban. Okay, you need to write this into the code that you cannot even create Devin Nunes cow or Devin's cow or anything like that. Now, of course, those of you familiar with Devin Nunes and the cow saga, they've had a beef for some time. And so, look, he spent years in court trying to not only get this fake cow banned off Twitter, and even, of course, to try to dox the owner. And then, not only that, when that was unsuccessful, tried to sue Twitter for saying, how dare you mock me? This is the man who was running a so-called free speech social media site. My free speech, I gotta have my free speech, but you can't have your free speech. Have you ever seen anything more sad? I haven't. I mean, this shows how incredibly fragile and anti-free speech they actually are. Oh my God, I can't believe a cow is making fun of me. A fake cow. How dare you? Why would you do such a thing? Again, the irony, this proves that that they are, of course, they don't actually care about free speech. They go after Twitter for doing the exact same thing that they do. Claim, oh my God, you got the censorship. Why are they censoring conservative voices? How dare you? And yet they go and censor voices. In this case, fake cows. It's ridiculous. Now, here's the thing. Every site has a terms of service. Of course, right? I don't even have a problem with them having a terms of service, but you can't call yourself a unmitigated free speech platform if you have all these rules that literally ban people from having free speech? I mean, it seems like a bit of a bait and switch here. Seems like a bit of a marketing problem. You know, where's the beef? Oh, apparently you don't have any. You're not a free speech site. It's like a burger place selling just the bun. Where's the meat? You don't have any. You don't have any. It's gone. It never was there in the first place. Now, let me show you some more examples too. And I've told you, I think it was another site here. It was Gitter. That's right. That's the Jason Miller so-called free speech site that immediately banned Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is white nationalist, terrible person altogether, and a leader of what they call the Groyper Army. Immediately banned off Gitter. Why? Because, well, he violated the terms of service, which again, these so-called free speech sites have. That goes against their entire marketing of being free speech and not censoring people's voices. Well, if you're not going to censor anybody, then you would be fine with the Groypers saying these horrible things. Oh, but that looks bad for your site. Nobody wants to go there. Nobody wants to be around those horrible, horrible people. And so you got to draw a line somewhere. And so now, in this new example here for Truth Social, they also banned, they didn't ban him, but they censored Stu Peters. Who's Stu Peters? Well, he's a right-wing personality, and what happened is that he says that they have censored his post for calling for the execution of people responsible for COVID-19 vaccines. Not the COVID vaccine, not COVID-19, but the vaccine in general. You realize that the Trump administration is partly responsible for the rollout of the vaccine. I say partly because they provided a lot of funding. They did Operation Warp Speed. And of course, provided tons of incentive for these companies to go and do a very quick rollout of the vaccine. And, all these incentives created this competition between some of the companies, and then you ended up having a gigantic rollout of the different COVID-19 vaccines, right? And that's why I say they're partly responsible, but I think more responsible is the actual scientists that did the real work. Nonetheless, this guy says, if you're responsible for the COVID-19 vaccine, you should be executed. Well, Trump takes responsibility for that. Well, are you calling for Trump? Well, obviously they've got to be banned, or I'm sorry, not banned. I keep saying the word banned, but censored on Truth Social, censored his posts. And Peters wrote on Telegram, quote, "I'm already being censored on Truth Social." But you know what they actually have to do? Now, this was labeled on Truth Social, that calling for the execution, sensitive content. Nothing more than what Facebook actually does when they have a fact check of, like, for example, anti-vax content. They say, oh, that's not true. And then you click it, and then, you can still access it. Same thing on Truth Social, but that's the very thing, understand the hypocrisy. It's the very thing that they complain about, the conservatives complain about every single time there's a quote-unquote fact check on Facebook. I can't believe you're censoring my posts. Well, Truth Social doing the exact same thing. Not only that, but there's some weird rules on some of these so-called free speech sites as well. I talked about how Mike Lindell's site, Frank Speech, doesn't let you say swear words. But even more ludicrous is that apparently on Truth Social, you can be banned for using excessive capitalization. Yes, excessive capitalization. Apparently, they do not believe that caps lock is cruise control for cool. My final point here is, look, this is just part of the reason that this site is not going to last at all. Again, all these websites, they have to have a terms of service. And so as a result of that, you're going to have to ban some of the more toxic elements of their user base. Now, if you're already catering to the extreme far right, well then, I mean, that's literally the people that are the ones coming over to use your service in the first place. The only people that really want to join these right-wing sites are the toxic base that are too toxic for Twitter. I mean, certainly nobody on the left is going to go join Truth Social. And even mainstream conservatives who aren't insane, yes, they do exist, they're not going to have much reason to abandon Twitter. And of course, that means it's going to turn into an echo chamber. That's it. An echo chamber for the far right, the extreme right. And of course, what happens? Well, they're either going to get super bored because there's nobody to bully, or they're going to fight amongst themselves. Most likely, they're just going to go and try to get back on Twitter so that they can find libs to own. And that's what it is. They can't survive in a place where it's just them. It's kind of like a desert. Not a lot of people there. Some tumbleweeds tumbling around, that kind of thing. No, they want to come back to where everybody else is. So number one, they can be heard. And number two, they can own the libs, which is really basically their identity at this point.